What's up, everybody? It's your boy Lex Lethal, and we are back for another video. Today, we are going to be talking about DD5, the best 5 characters that you should be working on to get into DD5, and a little bit about the teal gear crunch that everybody's having, and the unique crunch that everybody's having to get these characters geared up enough to get them into DD5. We're also going to be joined by a very good friend of mine and special guest, Nietzsche, who is with the Alliance Baby Yoda, and I cannot wait to get into it. So without wasting any more time, let's go. All right, what's going on, guys? So the first thing that we wanted to talk about is, which everybody has probably got on their minds right now is, what are the the best first 5 characters you should be focusing on just to get into DD5? Should you be focusing on city so that you can get through the first 3 nodes and then the next 3 nodes, or would you be better off focusing on just whoever is the quickest way to get in there just so that you can start DD5? What would you say to that, Nietzsche?
So yeah, I would say you want to probably focus on the first 5 city characters. You do not, unless you just have some sort of influx in teal gear and teal mini uniques. There's really no reason to rush to get in there. So the first 5 that I personally would suggest, you have your for sure's, which are going to be Ghost Spider and Scarlet Spider.
Okay.
Those are going to be your first 2. Then you have several options. You have Morbius, you have Shang-Chi, you have Dagger, you have Cloak, you have Spider-Man Symbiote. Those are kind of those ones where you want to... those are the first choices. Now, the problem with Morbius, Dagger, and Cloak is it takes a lot of mystic gear to get them.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yep. Morbius and Cloak are by far probably 2 of the best. But they're gonna deplenish your mystic gear, which you are going to need later in DD5. Shang-Chi, however, is skill. Skill is not needed too much in DD5 and is a great choice. On my personal opinion, he was MVP for my team. However, my team was an early team, and I did also bring in Spider-Man OG and Spider-Punk. Now, Spider-Punk was not a great choice. He did not do amazing or anything, but he is cheap.
Okay, so because he was cheap. Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say his ultimate. His ultimate only has trauma in the raids, right? And that's like the most important part of his kit. The most valuable part of his entire kit is his ultimate has trauma, but the trauma is only applied in raids. So that when you take him out of raids, he becomes not so good of a character.
Correct. I mean, and honestly, with my team, I did the full Web Warriors minus Miles Morales and added in Shang-Chi. And every node was a 1 or 2 shot. So it really didn't hurt that much having him there. And so I wouldn't sit here and say, okay, well, Cloak is better, so I want to take him. Because honestly, once you unlock City, you're still going to have to wait for Global. So is it really that important to one-shot nodes or get nodes done quicker if you're going to wait on the next set of nodes? Personally, I don't think so. I think that as long as you have Ghost Spider, Scarlet Spider, and Shang-Chi, and I still stand by Shang-Chi, he was my MVP. I think if you have those 3, the next 2 don't matter nearly as much, and you're going to complete that section prior to you having the materials for the next sections.
Yeah, so I've heard people talk about Shang-Chi being, he's a little squishy. He can be a little soft in DD5. From what I've seen in watching other people do it, it doesn't really. It's almost kind of like DD3, right? Like where it doesn't really matter. They're taking a lot of damage regardless. But I have heard people mention that Shang-Chi was a little bit squishy for them.
Well, the beauty about DD5 and all Dark Dimensions is if someone dies that you don't want to die, you just exit out. You go right back in and you get to redo it. So him being squishy doesn't necessarily matter. It really has to do with, okay, how often am I willing to just restart that fight? If you're willing to sit there and go for a perfect fight, Shang-Chi is amazing. He really does work. He really works well in DD5, and I 100% think he is probably one of the best characters for DD5.
Yeah, this is what I like the most about Shang-Chi is so his ultimate, which deals out killer damage, as we all know, is only a 3 ability energy refresh. So which means he has the opportunity, especially if you have a way, I guess, to feed energy to him. He could be doing his ultimate, over and over and over, which can definitely come in handy. You're not necessarily getting the speed up because, unless you're using Luke Cage. I have heard of people bringing in Luke Cage as well for a first fight because he's cheap and he works good with Shang-Chi and he gets the speed up. But I don't know if I would necessarily do that. I would say more like Nietzsche says, I would more take your time and take the characters that are going to matter in, as opposed to characters that you just want to take in just so you can hurry up and get in. We all want to finish DD5. Everybody wants to finish DD5, just like when DD4 came out. The best thing to do, I would say, is to just take your time and take the characters that matter in the most. That would be the most important thing that I would think.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, I know some people who took Luke Cage because he's cheap and he technically works with Shang-Chi, but I've also, every single one of those people have gotten stuck and they ended up having to bring up a 6th character to get past certain nodes. And City is honestly actually one of the hardest sections out of all of them. And so I do not suggest bringing up Luke Cage. I do suggest Shang-Chi. He does great damage. Like Lex said, he has a 3-turn ultimate that reduces speed bar. And he's just an incredible character for this mode.
Yeah, I personally, yes, I am going the Shang-Chi route. I personally almost have him ready, so hopefully it doesn't take too much longer. We're all dealing with the teal bottleneck, which we're gonna get into here in just a second. But okay, so we have Shang-Chi. So and you said Cloak, right? For your second, and so I hear a lot of people suggesting Cloak. Cloak is the first person you should be working on to bring into City for DD5. Why do you think everybody's saying that about Cloak?
Well, Cloak's ultimate is amazing. The ability to cast all those blinds or other debuffs, disrupts. I mean, he produces a lot of debuffs. Would I say he's necessary? Actually, no, because personally what I did was I tried to save my Mystic Gear and I actually did not bring in Cloak. And still did absolutely fine in City. So do I think Cloak is necessary? No. Do I think Cloak is probably the best to get City done? Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's actually some really good advice. Really because of the fact of Icarus and Cersei, right? Those are the first ones on everybody's mind, right? Oh, I want to bring Icarus and Cersei into Mystic for DD5. I'm gonna be one-shotting nodes. And if you decide to go that cloak route, as you can see here, I have basically no Mystic teal gear ready for Icarus. So that is a sacrifice that you will be making that you need to keep in mind. That it's a lot of Mystic gear to be going with. For me, I would say I'm impatient. I'm just more in a hurry to start. It's different for everybody else. I feel like I don't want to fall behind. And I am a content creator, so I would like to be able to give my own opinions about DD5. But yeah, there is that sacrifice to think about for sure. Another character, the last one I want to talk about before we get too long here is Star-Lord T'Challa. I saw some people using him in DD5, and I decided to bring him up because I like this character. I like his kit. He's done really well for me. I like the Ravager rework. I like the Ravager team. They're just a lot of fun to play with. And so I'd want to get your thoughts on what you think about bringing in T'Challa.
Well, personally, I also love the Ravager team. I have 7 red star characters on it. I mean, they're the worst ones. It's Boomer, Stitcher, and Bruiser. But I love the team. T'Challa is a great character. I use him on tech nodes and Doom 2.3. He's a great character, and I would highly suggest bringing him up to gear tier 16 for Dark Dimension 5 on those cosmic nodes.
Yeah, he's a great character. I like you were saying, I love the Ravager rework. I've even seen people bringing in Stitcher. For example, I saw Reminex using Star-Lord, T'Challa, and Stitcher in DD5, and man, the drains that he was getting off of some of these characters, he was almost completely refilling their health. It was great. I was like, wow, this might not be a bad idea. And Stitcher can be cheap. Stitcher is also cheap.
Stitcher's super cheap.
Yeah, he's originally a minion, right? So he's super cheap. I'm trying to find mine. I think I favorited him actually. Let's see. I forget what I have mine at. Oh, there he is. So yeah, I'm working on mine. I know he's cheap, but yeah, he's definitely been a consideration of mine as well. His drain is great. You got to have somebody to be able to support you in DD5 and refilling that health, especially as with the damage that these characters are taking off. So yeah, he's another suggestion that you might want to think about for Cosmic for sure, definitely. So okay, you guys, so you're in DD5, right? You're in Legendary, right? You're getting close to getting done with it. You have a lot of these characters that you've brought to 16. What did you do as far as the teal bottleneck goes? Because a lot of people right now are having trouble with getting enough teal gear. I see people talking in chat all the time. Oh, I don't even have one piece of teal gear equipped yet. What are some tips or that you would give the audience to tell them, hey man, these are some little things you can do to help you get some of that teal gear that you need?
Yeah, so there's really not a big trick to teal gear because it is 100% a bottleneck. One thing I would suggest is using those 50 core refreshes in the regular store and buying up any mini uniques you can. The mini uniques is the biggest bottleneck that you'll run into. The other two bottlenecks are focus catalysts and health catalysts. So you absolutely want to be buying those up as well, wherever you absolutely can. And because those cost about twice as much as any of the other catalysts, with the exception of SBCs. You're going to need twice as many of those as any of the others for your characters to bring up into DD5 tier 16.
Okay, and what about the RTA pass? Because I see, the RTA pass. Here's the thing. Here's my big gripe with the RTA pass. Okay, and I've I've been across many streaming channels, bitching to people about this. Is yeah, there's teal gear in here, but there's not the teal gear we need. There's no mini uniques in here, not any of them. There's no uniques in here. There's gold uniques, yeah, or there's gold mini uniques, but there's not even any gold uniques in the RTA pass. So basically, you're paying $20 for a costume and a bunch of basic teal gear and teal catalysts. But there is a teal gear bottleneck right now. So would you say, because of that fact and getting into DD5, and DD5 is such a hot topic right now, it's worth it to buy that $20 RTA pass?
I think it is. Personally, I think the Battle Pass is probably one of the best offers you could say in the game. It does provide you a lot of resources you would normally not get, and if you stacked up the rewards you get from those different levels all in one, it's easily $100 worth of offers, potentially even more. So I personally think that the Battle Pass is one of the best uses of $20 in this game.
Okay. Yeah, so like I was saying before, yeah, I was pretty drawn back by the fact that there was no mini uniques and there was no uniques, and those were the pieces that I really needed to finish a couple of characters off. But now that I have those characters finished off and I have the uniques, now I'm lacking on the basic gear, and so the RTA pass is starting to look a little bit better to me. So I have definitely been considering buying the RTA pass to alleviate some of that teal gear crunch. It's hard to say, that's a tongue twister. But all right, guys, that's about all the time we have today. Thank you so much, Nietzsche, for joining me. I appreciate you guys coming to the channel. If you guys don't know, I am also on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for War for MSF. I'd love to see you guys there. Nietzsche also streams on Twitch at
typically Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday morning, and Sunday mornings.
So make sure.
Yep.
Sorry. So make sure you check out my boy Nietzsche, because he's a good friend of mine, and he's an amazing MSF player. A lot of the things that I learn and the tips that I get from him. If there is an end game, he would definitely be it. So make sure that you give him a follow and you give him a like. All right, you guys, have a good one, and thanks for joining.